Hi, so when you make the purchase, you get access to this particular folder with the financial model and the business plan template. Uh, in this video, I'm going to be explaining about how you can basically use these two in order to create your own business plan. So firstly, I'll start with the financial model, then I'll move to the business plan. You should also start with the financial model and then move to the business plan. I'll explain why. So the financial model of the business plan is basically used as a structure or the foundation in order to write the business plan. The reason it is considered as a foundation is because you have to consider revenues, costs, profits, and other fundamental aspects of the business plan from the financial model. So that's why we should start from the financial model. Now, in this financial model, if you look closely, there are a couple of tabs. I'm going to firstly give you a highlight of what are these tabs, what are the functions of these tabs. Then I'm going to go through the details of how to use the how to use the financial model. So firstly, we have the table of contents. So in the table of contents, whatever your company name is, XYZ, let's say, so you put it in the table of contents and everything in the model will change according to the name. So in here, as you can see, it's changed. Secondly, what you have to do is you have to move to the assumptions tab. But before moving to the assumptions tab, I think you should look at the dashboard. So this is the dashboard. This is you can consider this as a bird's eye view of the whole financial model. This gives you a bird's eye view of the whole projections. So as you can see, there are 3-year projections: 2024, 25, and 26. Now let's move on to assumptions tab. So all the assumptions are in this particular tab. So this is very important. This is considered as the cockpit. So whatever assumptions you have are basically done through this particular tab. For example, during the first year, we have assumed an investment of $500,000. Second year, 150,000. Third year, 50,000. So if you want to make changes, for example, if I change this to like 800,000, sorry, it's 8 million. So if I change this to 800,000, everything in this model is going to change. For example, previously, when it was 500,000, the working capital was 350,000. When I increased it to 800,000, the working capital has increased from to 560,000. This will also impact your capex schedule and other factors as well. Uh, this is connected to balance sheet and all the other tabs. I'm going to go through each and every one of these tabs. Uh, so this is how it works. Secondly, this is a simple capex schedule. So if you want to place any name in here in terms of capex items, for example, if you want to purchase furnitures or fixtures for your business, if you have a restaurant business, then you might need to buy kitchen equipment. So you can just write kitchen equipment in here, and everything in the model is going to change. So if I go to the balance sheet, as you can see, it's written kitchen equipment. If I go to cash flow statement, it's written kitchen equipment. So it's kind of easy to use. So just change the name as per your choice. Apart from that, these assumptions work in such way that, for example, during the first year, we are investing 10% of our initial investment on item one. So 10% of 800,000 is 80,000. For the second year, we are investing 2% of this year's cash injection plus previous year's ending cash balance. So where is the ending cash balance? So this is the ending cash balance. Because during 2025, if when you're going to start the business, or when you are going to start operations after 2024, when you are just going to start the year, you will obviously have some cash balance. So that will obviously be taken into account. So after spending on the capex items, for example, item 1, 2, 3, whatever amount you have remaining will go to the working capital. So we have used simple subtractions, additions, multiplications, and divisions. There are no complicated formulas, so you can just go through the cells in order to understand how each of the calculations are working. Apart from that, we have the promotional budget. So in case of promotional budget as well, if you wish to change the name of these channels, for example, in place of in-person marketing, if you want to place Google ads, you can do so. If you just place Google ads in here, everything in the model will change. So the promotional budget is coming from the working capital. So if you just click on the promotional budget, you will realize that this is coming from the working capital. You can increase or decrease this based on your assumptions. So only the hard inputs are basically in pink colored cells. So only pink colored cells can be changed. It's already mentioned in here. So let's say I want to spend more on marketing during the first year. So you just change this to 35%. Out of this marketing budget, some is distributed to in-person marketing, some of them is distributed to event sponsorship, and so on and so forth. Now, each of the marketing channels have a customer acquisition cost. This CAC is basically customer acquisition cost. So what is customer acquisition cost? Customer acquisition cost is the cost to acquire one particular customer. For example, in here, we are spending 29,400 on in-person marketing. So by spending 29,000 on this channel, if you look closely, if our CAC is $25, then after spending this amount, we are going to get roughly close to 1,200 sales. So this is how the mechanism works in here. Apart from that, we have the revenue section, which is pretty straightforward. Out of these total sales, we have assumed certain percentage will go to item 1, certain percentage will go to item 2, certain percentage will go to item 3. You might have 3-4 items in your revenue model. So based on that, you can change the names in here. And as I mentioned, everything in the model will change automatically. For example, in case of revenue item 1, if you have something like, so if you have something like let's say tea, so everything in the model will change. As you can see, so it could be tea, it could be, you could be in beverage business, you could have a coffee shop, you could have a restaurant, anything it is, whatever the revenue item is, just write in it in here, and everything in the model will change automatically. Uh, so this is also true for cost of goods and other items as well. Whatever you change in the assumptions tab will be basically repeated across all the other tabs. Next we have operating cost and cost of goods sold or cost of services. So cost of goods sold is for businesses which produce something, and cost of services are mostly for service oriented businesses. For example, if I give an example of cost of goods sold business, it could be your coffee bean business. If you are into manufacturing coffee beans, then coffee beans is your goods. So the cost of purchasing those coffee beans, maybe you are importing it from somewhere, or maybe you're manufacturing it, whatever it is, the cost of raw materials and cost of production basically goes to cost of goods sold. And if I give a example of cost of services, let's say you have a salon. So in the salon you offer various services, so that goes to your cost of services. You might be paying someone for taking care of customers. So the costs that are directly related to generating revenue are basically going to cost of goods sold and cost of services. Please let us know if you have further questions about this. Then we have operating costs. So operating cost mostly involves costs that are not directly related to revenue generation. For example, you have office space. So you have to pay the rent for that office space, whether you generate revenue or not. It does not matter. So that goes to operating cost. So in operating cost, we have firstly salaries, then we have some other expenses. So salaries is very important. In here you can make changes to the monthly salaries and the number of people you want to recruit for each of these positions. Then we have cash flow statement. Apart from that, everything is quite simple to understand. Then we have revenue tabs, which is basically um, the stuff that we discussed in the assumptions tab. Apart from that, all the tabs are basically a repetition of everything we just discussed so far. Then we have income statement, non-current asset schedule. So these are the basic statements that are required for a business plan. Another very important thing, these are the graphs and charts that you might require in the business plan. So you just have to copy paste these graphs and charts. So once you make necessary changes in the assumptions tab, just go through the whole model, just check if everything is working correctly or not. If something doesn't work well, then please contact us, we will help you with that. uh, After you make the necessary changes, you will get the outputs in terms of graphs, charts, and the dashboard reports. So these can be used in the business plan, which I'm going to be discussing next. The business plan is kind of self-explanatory. As you can see, firstly, we have the cover page. Just to let you know, you can basically access Canva designs, various Canva designs. And in order to basically change these cover pages. So these cover pages are basically editable, totally editable. You can change the letters in here. For example, you can place your company name, your email address. You can change the image in here. Even if you don't have Canva premium access, you will be able to work on these cover pages. Next, we have the executive summary. So work on the executive summary at the very end. Once you are totally done with the business plan, then start working on the executive summary. So these charts, these graphs are already mentioned in the in this particular tab, graphs business plan. So as you can see, once you make changes to the financial model in the assumptions tab, this graph will change. So you can just copy from here, copy and replace this one. Just remove this and paste it in here, and it will be done. That's how simple it is. Next, we have business description and some other sections of the business plan, as you can see. So everything is written how to basically do this. For example, in case of business model, we have a guidance for business model Canva, as you can see in here. It's written how to basically write this. Also, we have provided example. For example, in here, this is an example for a fitness app. For the fitness app, key partnership might include fitness experts, nutritionists, and wearable device manufacturers. So this is the example, and this is the guidance. So this goes for SOT as well. This is the example, and this is the guidance. In here, for example, in the founder section, we have mentioned example which can be basically repeated for your case, or you can make changes, necessary changes as you see fit. So these charts are also editable on Canva, whether you have premium access or not. Just click on this link. So once you do that, you can make necessary changes to these graphics. So there are a couple of layouts in here, as you can see. So you can use these layouts to make changes to the organogram. This is very comprehensive. The business plan and the financial model that we are providing is very comprehensive. This is also basically taken from this particular model. You can find it there. Then we have the industry analysis, which identifies how to write the industry analysis. Each and every section is described how to basically write each and every section. This chart is also editable on Canva. So all the graphics mentioned in this business plan and financial model are totally editable. These graphs and charts are also mentioned in the financial model. So I think I have explained everything. In case you face issues, please contact us. We already mentioned that we are providing 20-minute free consultation before you make the purchase. Even after you make the purchase, if you face issues, please email us. And good luck on your purchase. Wish you all the best.